Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm VelvettB, and thanks for joining me today for the Modern Home and Cookie Shop build. So, if you aren't familiar with the channel, you haven't met me before, I'm Velvet. Hello! And I am a YouTuber and streamer from New Zealand, and I love The Sims 4. And my very favorite thing to do in The Sims 4 is to build. I love gameplay and I really enjoy CAS as well, but my favorite chill out, really peace zone place for me in The Sims 4 is building. And I'm excited as always to talk to you today about my build that we are working on. So this speed build is, where am I building this? I think I'm building this in San Sequoia actually. Yes, I am. It is a 40 by 30 lot, so it's a good size lot. The reason that I wanted a good size lot is in my head, what I wanted to do was create a house that the Sims would live in, but then I wanted to kind of create like a detached, converted garage that the Sims would then be using for a business. And I did not know this was going to be a cookie shop when I started creating the build. I kind of had an idea. I was thinking something to do with cooking, and it just kind of evolved into a cookie shop. And as you do. So this might or might not. I'm not really sure as far as how this is going to work with the businesses and hobbies pack that is coming out. Actually, it will be released by the time this video comes out. But at this point in time, as I'm recording this, I don't know how that all is going to be working. But I set it up so that you can have the sales table and you can sell your baked goods from that sales table in the converted garage. So it is actually a functioning business as it stands. But if you wanted to convert that into whatever the dealio is with the businesses and hobbies set up, then there's a potential to do that as well. You've just kind of got this detached garage area where you could set up a business, which is cool. And I wanted to build modern. So that was another thing that I knew in my head that I wanted to build is in a modern style. I did have an inspiration for this build, and it just kind of worked off that and created those modern vibes that I particularly love. And I know not everybody loves a modern home. It's each to their own, really, isn't it? Oh, by the way, these polls that I'm using, they're from Base Game Debug. So if you like those polls, you can actually find them in Base Game Debug. I love those polls. I think they're fantastic and really useful, and I wish we had more of them in the game that weren't in Debug. Just saying, just pointing that out. I want these, but not in Debug, just like as a builder's tool that we can use. Free floating polls. Yes, please. So the idea that I had for the garage is that it was kind of going to be like detached from the house and just a sort of a freestanding kind of unit. But it has like a little parking lot for the customers to go in and park there as well. So I'm just kind of working out the size. And I kind of had the idea where you kind of have the garage door there. So it shows that this used to be a garage. This was a double garage. So they've taken out the second garage door and then opened it up around the side and converted it into a business. So I did play test this, and you could sell from the sales table. So it's all very ready to go, basically, from that perspective. So if you don't have the businesses and hobbies pack, then this still works. You just need to make the cookies to sell on the table. That's it. I mean, you can sell whatever you like on the table. I don't really mind. It's up to you. But I just evolved into sort of like a little bakery / cookie shop, and I thought that was super cute. You know, it's funny. I made this. I created the build, and I got to the point where I finished it off, and then I went to pick the kids up from school. So I've got 2 kids, and while I was picking the kids up for school, it occurred to me that I had not used the cookie rugs from the Pastel Pop kit for a cookie shop. Like, what? Why didn't I use those cookie rugs? So I actually went back in and I just made a few adjustments post recording, where I added like some more cookie stuff and just changed it around just a smidge and added in like the cookie rugs from Pastel Pop, because I was like, why don't I have cookie rugs? If you're doing a cookie shop, isn't it gonna be pretty obvious that you are gonna be doing like the cookie rugs? It didn't occur to me at the time. You know, just brain fart or something. But I added in the cookie rugs, and you'll see that in the screenshots at the end. I just did some like cute little more cookie things, and I actually found a better cookie sign for up above the garage as well. So I kind of was using like this the bakery sign from Get to Work. But I then later I was just sort of digging through, just looking for cookie things basically, and then I found like a sign. It's like more of a billboard, but it has like cookies on it. And I was like, oh, I could use that for a sign. So yeah, you'll see in the screenshots, there's a few things that are like slightly different because I went back in and I just wanted to go a little bit harder on the cookie theme. Of course, there isn't like a great deal of cookie things in The Sims 4. Like I could like put plates of cookies around, but then they'd just go off. So it's kind of pointless. Yeah, but cookie rugs, and then I found like a little sign with cookies on them. So that was like great. I think that was possibly Get to Work as well. I'm not 100% on that one actually. But yeah, making some progress. But as you can see here, the house is coming together. I was initially going to go with the mixed grain wood that comes with Eco Lifestyle, but then I decided to go a different direction. I was kind of trying things out. I wasn't really decided on anything at this point. I just decided, I was playing around and I was like, oh no, I think I like the plainer wood better. It just looks a little nicer with this particular style. So that's what I ended up going with. So you sort of see it is shaping up really quickly, really nicely. And I was kind of happy with how it looked. Like, it's probably less windows than I would normally have in a build, but that was kind of how the inspiration was. So I just ran with it. I did add a few more extra windows here and there. Shh, don't tell the inspiration that. But it worked out. So I was happy. Now, this is actually a limited pack build. Not super limited. It's got a few packs, but it is actually limited. I did try to keep the packs to a smaller amount. So for this build, you've got Life and Death, Lovestruck, For Rent, Horse Ranch, Grown Together, High School Years, Cottage Living, Eco Lifestyle, Discover University, Island Living, City Living, Get Together, Get to Work. So quite a few of the EPs. But for the game packs, it's only Dream Home Decorator, Strangerville, Dine Out, and Spa Day. So only 4 game packs. For the stuff packs, Home Chef Hustle, because that's what I use for the kitchen and the food stall. Laundry Day, because I wanted to have a laundry in there, and Perfect Patio, so that's what I use for the outside. So just 3 stuff packs, and then I only used 1 kit, which was the Pastel Pop kit, because I needed to have the cookie rugs. Okay. I needed that stuff back. Sorry, the kit. I did originally have like some other kits in there, but I wasn't really using them for anything beyond like a couple of decorations, so I just deleted those out. I was like, oh, I don't really need those in there. And where you can limit the amount of packs you have, then you want to be able to do that. I was just trying to decide what I wanted to do with this front area. Like, did I want to have it kind of secluded and shut off from the customers or not? But I felt like adding a taller fence just really blocked off the home, and you couldn't really see the beauty of the modern home. And I was like, and like the whole flat open porch, that was very much a feature of the house as well. So yeah, I decided that I think it looked better open rather than having it all closed off. So that was the decision I ended up going with there. And if you're wondering why there were all those people standing around, that's from when I play tested. And then they just didn't go. So it's just like, I'll carry on building with all these people there. So yeah, I'm putting these cozy bistro signs, but I ended up deleting those because, again, they were the only thing that I used from that pack, and it just seemed kind of pointless to just have the one thing from the pack if I wasn't going, full bore on the cozy bistro pack. I do love that pack though. I feel like the cozy bistro pack would actually work really nicely style-wise with the Secret Sanctuary pack. I feel like those 2 packs stylistically look a lot the same. So yeah, I think those 2 kits would go really well together. Anywho. So how are we getting on? Oh yeah, the landscaping. So I'm just doing a little bit of flat landscaping around the front. I thought I needed something there. And I thought, well, a way to sort of or keep the house a little separate from the business and not just like, you know, walk in here, was to put a garden out front. I mean, they could technically still walk in there, not a problem, but I am trying to keep it a little separate. So just a cute modern style garden, the you know, the kind of garden where it's pretty simple as far as the items go. So I've only got the 3 kind of things in there. I'm just adding little patches of grass around the place. So the cottage living. Oh, I was actually looking at sorry. I deleted like some cottage living items from the lot because I was going to get rid of that pack, and then the pack was still there, and I was like, why is the pack still showing up as being used? And then I've just realized that I used the debug grass from cottage living, and that's why. Ah, anyway, so if you don't have cottage living and you want this build and you've got all the other packs, then it's only grass. That's the only thing that is from cottage living in here, so you can just forget about the grass. It's all good. So in the backyard, I'll tell you about the family first, because I did actually have a very good idea of the family that was living in this particular house, right? So the story that I had in my head is that this is a single mum. Now she got some money in the divorce, so she's bought a brand new house because she does not want to have the memories of her previous marriage. And this is her brand new house, and the way that she's going to support herself and the kids and just bring in a little bit of extra money is to have her home cookie shop attached to the house, and it just gives her the flexibility to be home when the kids, you know, come home from school and that sort of thing. And yeah, it's just the way that she makes money and also still gets to be a mum and have her mum time. So she's a single mum and she's got 2 kids, and I didn't really go into depth as to if it's a boys or girls, I don't think. Although the bedrooms that I made, it would suggest 1 boy, 1 girl, probably. Although one of the bedrooms, it could go either way. But one of the other bedroom is fairly girly, so I don't know. You can put whoever you like in there. I don't mind. This is the story that I had anyway when I was building the house. So it's just the mum. Oh, by the way, this is how to make a little doorbell. So there's a locked item called the monolith, and you shrink it down, lift it up, and then there is these are both base game items. So it's a locked item called the monolith, and you shrink it down as far as it will go and lift it up so it's sitting by the door in the right place. You'll need your BB move objects on sheet, obviously, and also unlocks entitlement sheet. The other thing, then I put like a little pool light in there, also base game. So the little base game pool light, and shrink it down by 1 and just put it in the little monolith hole, and that makes a doorbell. Isn't that cool? I stole that from someone. Totally not my idea. I saw someone else do it. I think it might have been King Quirky. I think. Could be wrong though. But I'm sure I saw it on one of my shell challenges, and I was like, oh, I'm stealing that idea. That is neat. And it's base game only, so, you know, it's available for everybody to use. Right, we are now in the garage, and the garage is our converted business. So this is for our mum, and this is how she makes her money during the day when the kids are away at school doing their school things. So the idea that I had for this is that there is going to be the selling area, and then there's going to be like another sort of seating sort of style area there, and then this is actually the commercial kitchen. So the commercial kitchen I built with the Home Chef Hustle pack. I hadn't used that pack in a little while, and I just kind of felt like with the food processor and bits and pieces, it just kind of made sense to me to go hard with that pack and really make the kitchen out of that pack, because I wanted to use the food processor anyway. So I was going to be using that pack, and I was just like, you know what, I would ordinarily still be using the Life and Death kitchen because I adore the Life and Death kitchen. It's gorgeous. And or the base game one, because I really like the new base game one too. But no, not today. Today we are going Home Chef Hustle. So we are leaning hard into Home Chef Hustle and just making a really big commercial style kitchen. So lots of ingredients around the place and lots of counter space. So, you know, that the mama has like plenty of room to get her cookies made. etc, etc. And I did play test it and it all works from what I could tell. I mean, I cooked something in there and it was fine, so I'm going with that theory. And I just used because I was using Dine Out, I was like, oh, I can use those experimental pictures, food pictures from Debug. So if you're wondering what those pictures are, they are from Debug and they're from the Dine Out pack. Because, you know, well, you may not know, but if you've experimented with Dine Out at all, I believe you can, it's been a while since I've done this, but you can go in, when you go on like a date or something like that, you go into the restaurant and you order the experimental food, and then you can take photos of it, I think, and then I think those are the debug photos from that. I think that's how it works. Honestly, it's been a while. So I added Cupcake Factory to the kitchen, and then out here I'm using the display cases for the bakery stuff. And I actually ended up changing the table that I put in the middle because of something that someone mentioned to me. I think it was Jared, and he sort of was like, oh, well, you know what goes with cookies? Milk. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then we got on this whole subject of this cookie bar, this cookie shop that we have up in Auckland that I used to go to, and they did milk and cookies, and it was so good. Anyway, there was a whole other thing, but the whole reason I'm going on to that is that was still sort of lingering in my brain. And when I went back to make a few changes and add my cookie rugs, I was like, milk and cookies, milk and cookies. And so I put in a bar in between those two display cases. So the idea being that people can order their milk from the bar. The idea being, you know, whether or not they actually can, I don't know. But the whole idea is that, you know, that's kind of the illusion of ordering milk from the bar. So you can order your milk and your cookies, right? Yeah. But milk and cookies, they go hand in hand. Yummy. I love a good chocolate chip cookie, and you can dip your chocolate chip cookie into your milk, and it's just like, and then the cookie gets like kind of soft, but you kind of have to time it right, because if you leave your cookie dipped for too long, then your cookie will start to crumble, and it'll just be like cookie crumbs all through your milk, and it's like, not the best. So you've really got to get your timing right so that the cookie doesn't disintegrate in your milk, but then it gets like enough milk absorbed into the cookie to be like super yummy, yummy, yummy. There's a whole art to, like, you know, cookie dunking. I feel like, you know, it's just one of those things you have to practice. What a shame, having to practice dunking cookies in milk. It's a tough job, but I'm willing to put my hand up and do it, you know. I'll give it a go. So we are now moving on to the interior of the house. So the interior of the house is going to be 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. So I was talking earlier about the makeup of the family that I had in my head, and it was a mum and 2 kids. So that's the bedrooms that I made. I made a bedroom downstairs, and that's going to be for the mum, and then upstairs is going to be 2 single bedrooms, and that's going to be for the kids. You could very easily convert those to double bedrooms, I imagine. Like, they're quite large bedrooms, so there's the space there if you wanted to have a double bed in there. Then I don't think that'll be much of a problem. You can easily swap it. You just delete like the end table beside it or something. So I had this idea, right, while I was doing these bathrooms, and because the other day I did a build, and I was talking about the fact that Pretty Poison, a good friend of mine, was doing a build, and I was watching it, and on her YouTube channel, and she was using islands for like putting the sink in. Like, you can sort of see there, and then you can use like the islands, the back of the islands behind the sink to add clutter. And I was like, genius idea. And then I just like took that idea, and I was like, what if we turn the island around on either side of the sink, and then like put a little seat under it? Now that's non-functional because they can't reach the seat. If you turn the seat around, then it probably would be. Anyway, it just sort of works as a little vanity, and I was like, oh, that's next level. Yes. So anyway, that's what I was doing there. So I've created, like, using the islands, turning them around backwards when I wanted to add the sink, and then round fronts when I don't want the sink, and then you just put like a little seat under it, and it's like a little vanity. And you could do that base game if you wanted to, if you don't have the packs. Base game trick. Watch me as I do it here. So I've just added the sink. So the island is backwards there, and then the island with the seat underneath it, that's frontwards. So it just creates that vanity effect. And I just was like quite impressed with myself for thinking of that. So thank you, Pretty Poison, for the idea. And then I just jumped off and developed it, you know, that little step further. I'm sure somebody else has come out with it. But it's a good idea and I like it. And I came up with it all by myself. I didn't steal that one from anyone. I mean, I evolved it, really, is kind of where I went with that. Anyhow, moving on. This is the mother's bedroom. Now, I put these lights in, and I love the idea of these, like, long lights hanging in beside and over the top of the end tables as an alternative to having lamps. I think that's great. The problem with that is the Sims won't walk past them, because I play tested it and she would not get in that bed. So I had to delete them. I didn't test it with slightly shorter lights. And in hindsight, I probably should have. And I will next time. Next time I do something like that, I will play test it with like a shorter light. But then you kind of don't get the same effect, if that makes sense, because the whole idea is that you have this long hanging light in beside the bed. I think I might have to play around with that idea and then like pull the bed forward a little bit, and then that might work. The lighting footprint just blocks the sim from being able to get in the bed when it's like situated end tables next to the bed. So I'm sure there's a way just to juggle it a little bit and make it work. If you're wondering about that wardrobe, that is from the Eco Living pack, and it's one of the items that you can fabricate. So that is in, I don't know, I don't think it's a locked item. I think it might be debug. I'm not 100% actually, I can't remember. You definitely need either the debug or the unlock. I don't think it's a locked item though, so I think it's debug item. I actually use quite a few of those fabricated items from Eco Lifestyle around a lot. I just felt like it worked for this particular build, just having that slightly raw kind of natural looking wood. Yeah, I feel like it kind of worked, so I leaned into that a little bit. I'm kind of into that fabricated stuff at the moment. I don't know why. So we are now moving on to the kitchen in the main house, and again just leaning into Home Chef Hustle and building that up. Now I did mix this up a little bit, so I did, because I've got that half wall, I thought, you know what, let's put the breakfast bar in amongst the kitchen. And then I had Island Living as one of the packs I was using. I used it somewhere else and I was like, all right, let's keep that up. So Island Living, I always forget about these little kitchen counters that we get with Island Living, and they're actually gorgeous kitchen counters. And I was like, you know what, I want to use them. I want to use them as a contrast color to the rest of the kitchen. So that's what I did. I'm just adding like a little bit of clutter to the outside, just dragging it across from a cube. And then I did behind the the vent, I used a Spa Day swatch in behind there just to mix it up a little bit as far as the wallpaper as well. I like the idea of having like a different colored wallpaper, like a splashback behind the oven. So, you know, like if your food is like spitting and it's like maybe like a little bit of grease going here, there, like, you know, having a bit of wallpaper that might be a little bit easier to wipe down. It's kind of the concept, right? That's the reason that you have them. Anyway. And I went with a black kitchen. Oh, there's a fabricated rug there. I did say I used quite a bit of fabricated stuff in here. I think I used a fabricated dining table as well. Okay, I really like it, and it looks good. And it suited the build, so I just went with it. It's actually really nice and modern stuff. So, in modern builds. So I ran with that. If you're wondering about the wood that I put there at the side of the fireplace, that is actually base game, and it is debug. If you type in, and I think this works without a mod, by the way, I'm pretty sure it does. If you type in your debug cheats, bbm.move objects, not move objects, show live edit objects, show hidden objects. If you then type in wood, I think you type in wood, they should come up, I think, near the bottom. So just scroll through there. So off to the left of your screen when you're building, there's a search bar. Has a little magnifying glass beside it. So yeah, just type wood into that, push enter, and it should come up with some items. And if you filter it to just base game, it'll probably limit those items even further. And it should come up under that, I think. The problem is because I have Better Build Buy in my game most of the time. I don't at the moment because it's broken. So I probably won't have that until after the Business and Hobbies pack comes out, but which may have probably come out by the time this airs, actually, but at this point in time, it hasn't come out. It comes out tomorrow. I'm recording this on the Thursday before it comes out, and yeah, basically you take Organized Debug out, right? But it's still, even if you take it out right, it's still a little funky with your debug. So this is why I'm saying I'm pretty sure it works, but I'm not 100% certain it works, because even though I don't have it, actually, I don't have any mods in my game, or I don't have the Better Build Buy mod in my game at the moment. The thing is that it still affects, it still does affect you, even when it affects your debug, even though it's not in your game, if that makes sense. So yeah. But I'm pretty certain that works. Anyhow, I've waffled. My gosh, I'm really sorry. I'm really waffling there. But I was trying to explain it. And the reason why I'm not 100% why it works. So I've just created like a shelving unit here. So there is a... Oh, which pack is that from? Ooh, I don't know which pack that's from actually. The City, I think it might be City Living possibly. But that black shelving unit, I actually spun it around so it's backwards, and then around it I stacked either Spa Day or Home Decorator counters around it in black, just to create like a custom shelving unit. And then in behind here, I was just kind of struggling a little bit with the space and what to do with the space in the living room, so I was just kind of getting a little bit creative with using the space. So what am I using? Oh yeah, Dream Home Decorator. Okay, so I'm using the Dream Home Decorator counters. So I'm just using like them again here, but just doing the lower ones and just using them like shelves basically, and adding some clutter on top with the stereo in beside it. So just kept it pretty simple as far as that goes, and I'm really leaning into the black and woods. That's where I'm going with this build. So again, just filling the space. So we've got a cute little aquarium there, bookshelf. I didn't want to put like another TV in there, so I just kind of wanted to make that like a chill reading kind of area. And then I was like, oh, you know what, I can add a bar in. So I'm adding in like a little bar. I know we've got a bar in our garage, but that's more like for milk and cookies. This is more, I've had a hard day at work, I'm having a few nectars. That's that kind of bar there. So that then leads us to the front, which is the hall area. Oh, I got creative with this as well. It's having a creative little build. Look at that. There's the burglar alarm. You know what? I still have not been burgled. I had on the Heist Havoc Lock Challenge, and yeah, basically still haven't been burgled. Although I haven't had that much time for gameplay, but yeah, still have not at this point been burgled. So if you're wondering what that thing is in behind here, that is actually from High School Years. So High School Years has this little black, I don't know what it is. It's under wall decorations. And basically I'm just putting over the top of that is the High School Years hanging thing, and putting some coats on that. And then I've used the base game coat rack, and I've lifted up a bag and I've hung a bag off the coat rack. Someone else mentioned that to me fairly recently, and that they'd seen someone do that on a YouTube video, and I was like, oh, that's genius. I'm stealing that idea. Velvet the thief, hey? But that's how you do it, right? You just accumulate over the years all these little tricks of the trade that you pick up from different people, or stuff that you come up, you know, with by yourself. And I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's just how it all sort of works, and that's how you learn as a builder as well. You just kind of pick up different ideas from different places and you just run with it. And that's kind of, you know, you just slowly build up your little repertoire of tricks. And I feel like, you know, I'm doing that slowly but surely. So upstairs, as I mentioned, we've got the 2 kids' rooms. I was struggling with that curtain. I was just overthinking it. And I actually, in both of the kids' rooms, I used half walls just to kind of divide the room because they're quite large rooms. And I didn't want to just shove the bed in against a wall and then like have this giant amount of space to try and fill. So I thought doing a half wall could kind of give me like a natural divide to the room and give me something else to lean against rather than just having everything stacked against the 4 walls and then like there's nothing in the middle of the room. So I shifted the focus by putting the half walls in the middle of the room and then putting the bed against the middle of the room, and then that gives us something in the middle of the room, and then I can still stack stuff around the side of the walls as well. So I'm just giving myself that extra bit of backing space to work with. And oh yeah, I made my own custom wallpaper as well. So that is from I'm gonna say, I think, Dine Out, that little decal. And I was kind of like, you know what, I'm just gonna make my own wallpaper and then mix that, because it kind of had a grey kind of look to it. It was like greyish black, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go charcoal with this because it worked with the bed as well. And yeah, leaned into the sort of the charcoal and the turquoise and the pattern on the wall. The thing with that though is you've got to be careful about which decals you choose. This one here actually had a little bit of height to it. So the problem with that is when I tried to put like posters and stuff over the top, the decal would actually show through. So I had to be really careful about what I picked to put on the wall on top of the embossed things. So you'll see that I've used wall decorations over posters, and that is the reason why, because the decals actually had a little bit of height, and it just looked really funny to put a poster over it and having half the poster hidden behind the wallpaper decoration. And then this is the last bedroom, and this is the more girly bedroom. I mean, you can make them whatever you want. I mean, up to you. This could be grandma's room for all I know. True, I don't know why these items were floating around, but they were. Just like, eh. And I'm using the octagonal patterned, whatever it is, patterned wallpaper that comes with high school years. So this room is very much leaning into high school years. It could potentially be a teenage rather than a child's room. I didn't really get too specific with that. You know, they age up so quickly. You know, you could go either direction anyhow. But yeah, just pinks and blues and whites. And they got a fireplace because they had a little bit of space for it. And I thought that was cute. And they could have their own TV. And they got their own little study nook as well. And, you know, just cute, a cutesy kind of room. And just really leaning into high school years. Because if you're going to do a cute, girly kind of room, high school years is kind of perfect for it. Actually, masculine as well. Also kind of perfect for that. They're just really great kids/teen stuff in high school years. While I don't like the gameplay for high school years, I do love the build by. I use it all the time. I adore it. I love the pastels. I think it's just really pretty. Anyway, I'm going to leave you guys there because we're going to head into screenshots. And yeah, thank you for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.